everyone. Welcome. Nice to see you all. Let me open up my comment section. Yeah, let me move this down a little bit. How's everybody doing today? My hair's a little messy. I did this. I'm not endorsing this product, but I bought the Shark Beauty, the one that auto wraps and does like heating. Well, it's a non-heat, but it curls your hair and stuff. But I didn't put enough spray on it, so now it's all. So please bear with me. How's everybody doing today? Yay, 6 people. It's more than I usually start with, so that's great. It's the little joys in life. And I'll see if I have 1, 2 people watching. I'm still grateful. Okay, so I've been doing half year predictions. I couldn't do it live last week because I was really busy with my work. I worked a lot last week. But I decided to postpone it to today where I have like my full attention and everything on this reading. Hi Luna, it's so nice to see you, to hear from you. Hope you're well too. Thank you. So let's get started. I'm first going to do Amber Heard. I'm doing half year predictions. Actually, the last live I did, one of you asked me to do an update about her. And I just want to say I've been very accurate in a lot about her. Saying she's gonna move to Europe and all that stuff. So, yeah, she's gonna try. I also say she's gonna try to run away from him. Literally everything. So, yeah. So please like the video on the way in. My channel's been growing. I'm so grateful. Yeah. So thank you. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm going to start with Amber Heard, picking up her energy for the next half of the year. Can't believe it's already July. Okay, so let's see. Also, what did you guys do if you're in the US? What did you do for 4th of July? I didn't have much going on because my work was so busy. But I'd love to know what you guys were up to. So yeah, so let's pick up the energy on Amber Heard, half year prediction. Also, this is something Elon Musk is Johnny Depp is suing Elon Musk, which is very interesting. I want to do a video on that too soon, so stay tuned. Okay, just like everybody's suing everybody. This is serious. I'm big on using the justice system, but I don't know if everybody needs to get sued. Okay. So. Definitely with 10 of Pentacles. So she's going to rebrand herself as a mother. 10 of Pentacles. I think she's going to marry someone who is she's going to rebrand herself and marry somebody who's already married. To have this, like, her PR is telling her to rebrand and be a motherly figure, because, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there's often a trend in Hollywood. So 1 minute they'll be humanitarian, the next minute they'll be mothers, the next minute it's so that the public gets skewed to think that the person is doing good things, or they pull on the public's heartstrings. And the heartstrings she wants to pull on is that she's a mother and she cares. And I'm telling you, she's going to relabel herself like that, remarket herself. Instead of being, they're going to say to her, people don't really like the sexy vixen type that you were portraying yourself to be. And there's a lot of other actresses, I believe, that embody Amber Heard energy that have already done the same. They've labeled themselves only seen out with their kids, but they were also very, very troublesome, detrimental people. But now all of a sudden they are mothers and nobody can touch them, So with the Chariot, it's going to work to an extent. And this is the card of Cancer. And Cancer energy is very motherly. very nurturing, and it's gonna help her to an extent. But the problem with her personality, she's got deep, deep personality issues. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if she's borderline, something like that, where she just has to get herself into some kind of trouble, you know? And the bottom of the deck being Ace of Pentacles, I see her writing. Oh my gosh. She's gonna write children's books and so forth, and be very, very maternal, but she doesn't have a maternal instinct, I believe. You know, people like this cannot be maternal. It's actually very sad. But yeah, that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna, well, 6 of Cups. She's gonna put on a show that she is a great mother, and her poor children and stepchildren. In fact, some of them are gonna speak out once she gets married to this person. It won't be this year, but this year, this is her direction. She's going to marry just for publicity, and her stepchildren in the near future. I see one being 14 when they speak out, say, "Our stepmother's mean," and blah blah blah. So the next person she marries is going to be a lot of trouble. She's not going to be married to them for long, but he's going to have children, and the children are going to hate her. Hate her. So yes, that's what I have for you about Amber Heard. I'm from Brazil, so we don't have 4th of July, but it was one. Oh, that's fun. That's really fun. It's Cancer season. The mothers are Cancer. Well, tell I say happy birthday. Okay, so let's move on. Next is Leonardo DiCaprio. Then I'm going to do Tom Holland. And then last I'm going to do Chris Brown. Okay, so Leonardo DiCaprio. So some of you may know my story about Leonardo DiCaprio, that I met him. He used to actually come to one of my old jobs. In fact, I went there recently to my old job in Tribeca. And it was just so crazy to be back there. I mean, back there many, many years. It was kind of like a memory, you know, like a time travel. Time travel to back when I was basically a kid living life. So anyways, I sense very strongly, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio has Sun in Scorpio. I sense that, you know, people have been asking, is he with Gigi? I don't believe that, and I don't ever think that it has been true. Like I have said before, I think that it's very, very much publicity based. I think that they are friends, and I think that he's one of those guys, because he's 48. I don't think he's ever really going to get married or have kids. I think he just knows that about himself. And you know what? I give people like that praise. If you know you're not going to make a good father, don't have children. You know, so I do have respect for him in that aspect. He just gives me very creepy energy. Even when I met him, he gave me very creepy energy. So let's see the rest of his half of this year. What's the energy behind that? Okay. Interesting. So, with King of Wands, 9 of Wands, he's going to be working on a project. I think it's like a directing. It's going to be directing. Ooh. See, I don't keep up with this kind of stuff. So, if he's already directed, please let me know in the comment section, even if you're watching replay. But he's definitely going to be behind the scenes. Definitely going to be doing something like that. You know, he actually does look young for his age. Not that it really matters, but I'm just thinking that he's, almost 50? He doesn't look... I still think he's, like, late 30s. But there are 5 of Cups, 8 of Cups. He's going to develop a more mature side, which, thank goodness. Thank goodness for that. And actually, there's somebody coming into this picture. I don't think it's Gigi, though. I see him maturing a lot. Once he steps behind the scenes, I think he's going to mature a lot. Because I think what happens in Hollywood, people become obsessed with their looks and they become obsessed with like needing to look a certain way, needing to have the image. But I think once they evolve to like a different, once they do something else that might be directing or might be producing or something else, it helps them mature because they aren't so focused on the image and trying to stay young and trying to stay relevant and all that stuff, you know. So let's see. Luna, you've been from Brazil. Your English is very good. I'm so impressed. That's really, really impressive. Okay, let's see. Like you even write with comments. I'm really impressed. So I want to see quickly what you have to say, Luna. Thank you for your comments too. I wonder why he's so bad with relationships. Only against with the young woman. He's really beautiful. Maybe have. Yeah, I think he's just very immature. That's what I think is the situation. I think he's very immature, and he hasn't ever really had to grow up. You know, and I think that is why he dates younger. Not always, but in general, a lot of older guys, when they only date younger women, they are usually immature. Yeah, just putting that out there. So I do see him maturing now at some point in the next 3 years. Once he steps behind the scenes, he's gonna take on like directing. I see him like working a camera, that kind of thing, spending his life less on camera, seeing himself. You know, when you see yourself a lot, unless you are very strong in yourself, you have strong confidence, strong, you know, which I don't think he has. He just doesn't seem to me like that kind of person. It's difficult to be on camera and be like, okay, this is what I look like, you know? And I don't think he's ever really made peace with that. You know, okay, so I'm not going to say the actress, but I used to work in a cafe in the Lower East Side. The beautiful actress used to come in. Somebody she knew lived in the building of the cafe that I worked at. So she would come in a lot. And one time I remember it was just her in the cafe and her child. It's a long time ago. And she was looking at the tabloid magazines and she was just so upset and she was almost crying about herself. You know, you could tell it was about herself. And I just thought to myself, like her child was crying, her baby was crying. She was very sweet. Every time she came in, she was a sweet, sweet, sweetheart. But I just thought like, wow, you must have some kind of, you have to have a different level of thick skin to have to deal with people speaking like that about you. So I have a lot of empathy for that, and I saw it firsthand. And she was very, very, very sweet, but you could tell she didn't know how to deal with it. I don't think a lot of people really make peace with it. You know, maybe I'll reveal once. I have said that I met her before on a video, but maybe one day I'll reveal who it was. So the star, Ace of Pentacles and Strength. So he is going to be inspired by an actress he's working with. She's going to be like his muse, and he's going to fall in love with her. But it's not Gigi, guys. So stop pushing for it to happen if you are. Divine wisdom, yeah. So he's going to meet somebody in the next 3-4 years when he's working on a project. So if he's already started directing, I apologize. I always say this. I only really keep up with housewives. So if she's not a housewife, if he's already started, oh my gosh, I'm messing up. What I'm saying, if he has already started directing, then I apologize, but he will very soon. He'll announce it very, very soon. And the person that he ends up liking a lot will be one of his muses. One of his muses. Okay, so let me push back my hair. Oh gosh, it's such a mess. All these curls. Okay, so let's see what you all have to say. Luna, I love that you're. I really thank you. That's so nice. I always thought. No, it's really. I'm very impressed. English is not an easy language. I must tell you. I learned most of the romantic languages in school, and I think the romantic languages, other than English, 'cause English is considered. Is it considered romantic language? I used to believe so. Then somebody told me it's a Germanic language, but it's not an easy language, English, because there's so many exceptions to the rule. But yeah, Latin, French, Spanish. I think Latin is difficult. I learned Latin, but I forgot it. But I speak French and Spanish, and French and Spanish to me are a lot easier than English. Even though French is not easy either, but English is very difficult. So good for you. I'm very proud of you. Okay, so the third person I'm moving on to, like I said, is Tom Holland. And I just saw, actually, before I started doing this live, I saw on my For You page that he did an interview. What's his name? Yes, I used to speak Portuguese. What I love about Portuguese is that, sometimes I still do. I go in and out of Portuguese and Italian. But what I love about Portuguese is very similar to Spanish, So that's what helps me. But there's no language that's similar to English, And that is my first language, but I will tell you, it's very difficult. Okay, so I saw recently that Tom Holland did an interview with someone, and he spoke about having mental, and I did pick this up. I've been picking this up for at least 2 years, that he has mental, because he's Sun and Gemini, and a lot of Sun and Geminis, I say all the time, don't think Sun and Geminis should drink. I think it's, if you drink, I'm not going to be upset with you. I'm not judging you. You do you. But whenever I drink, it gets in the way of anything productive in my life. I haven't drank for 4 months, and I feel so progressed, and I just feel so much better. I feel like my body is healthier. I feel like my mind is clearer. And with Geminis, I say that specifically because Geminis already get distracted easily. And I think that's why lots of Geminis do end up drinking, to calm them. But I would recommend instead meditating, yoga, There's many things you can do. And I know it doesn't sound fun to meditate and do yoga, but when you realize that these things we do, like taking on substances that just destroy your life, destroy your body, destroy your life, it's really, to me, not worth it. So I'm glad he stopped drinking. I'm not judging him. I'm just happy for him. If he decides to drink again, that's on him. I went through a phase, I stopped drinking and I started drinking again. But that's on him. I don't want to judge him, but I just think that's better for Sun and Geminis to not drink or do any substances, because they already are on a different vibration than the rest of us are. So, and moon and rising, I say that a lot. So I feel very strongly that I'm very happy for him. So let's see the rest of the year. I did see him and Zendaya no longer being together, because I saw that he's not going to really be happy with her in such a different element. He's not going to be happy with her growing. A lot of famous people are not happy with the type of perception of their romantic partner in a certain light, And look at what happened. Jonah Hill, isn't he a Sun and Gemini too? I think he's Sun and Gemini. Jonah Hill, oh no, he's Sagittarius, excuse me, I believe. He's either Sagittarius or Gemini. But Jonah Hill, I don't know if you guys saw, had these texts. She leaked the text. I think that they're both in a toxic relationship. She leaked text that he said that he didn't like what she was wearing. I'm paraphrasing, check it out yourself. But when I saw those texts, it reminded me of an ex that I dated who was also famous, not an actor, but a musician, a music producer guy. And I just left the relationship. I was like, I'm not going to be controlled. I'm an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius. You give me rules like that, it's the quickest way for me to leave and never come back. And somebody said this very powerful thing. They said that boundaries are things that you said about the relationship, not about what the other person needs to do and you're not involved in that. And I thought, wow, it's a very good point. But a lot of these famous people, not just men, people, they're so image focused that they want to control their partner to every extent that they can in terms of image. And it ends up, that's why a lot of them end up dating each other, because they understand it's very image focused. Especially Sun and Geminis can be image focused, very image focused. And so I think as Zendaya gets more famous, gets more popular, he's going to really, really struggle with that because he doesn't want to see her in that light. I thought about your readings when I saw his interview. A lot of things he said, yeah, exactly. I did. I saw a snippet of it and I was like, yeah, that's what I said. And I'm glad that he got it together. Because I feel like I say this all the time. Geminis, Sun and Geminis are genius minds. But sometimes their minds can go on a spiral. That's why that's why Kanye West tweets late at night, that kind of thing. They go on just like a spiral and they need to stop themselves. They need to develop the ability to have self-control. And he didn't seem like he had that much self-control before. I think he's working on it. A lot of other readers say him and Zendaya are engaged and people are speculating about it, but I think they are. I think if they are, it's going to be worse. I don't think they're engaged. No, I don't think they're engaged. But I do think she wants more. I've said this before. I do think she wants more, but he's kind of like, he's still finding himself, and it's very difficult to be in a relationship with somebody that's still finding themselves. And it's not their fault. They just don't know who they are. So, 8 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 4 of Crystals. I see very strongly that she's going to start putting up walls, and so is he. They're basically putting up walls with one another. And Knight of Crystals, he's going to start working on different things. In his self-discovery, he's going to start to venture off to, and this is very Sun and Gemini thing too. This is something I see Priyanka Chopra doing too. I think she's Sun and Gemini, is that she's either Sun Gemini or she's cusp Cancer. But I see her doing that too, where she starts to explore more of herself and do different things and not be like pigeonholed, because they don't like that. It's similar to Sun Aquarius. Sun Aquarius too. I mean, as Sun Aquarius, I can relate to that. We don't like people to see us only one way. So with 2 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, I see him breaking up with her. And I think it's going to happen this year, unfortunately. Time is fluid and this is intuitive, but I'm usually accurate. I see him breaking up with her by the end of this year. And she might see it as like a sad thing, but it's actually for her benefit. I don't think fundamentally they're two very different people. He's British, right? I think he's British. And culturally, I say it all the time. I feel like somebody I've had the fortune of being raised in American culture, British culture. My parents lived in New York for a long time, and I think they raised us very Americanized. Growing up, I didn't realize how Americanized we were raised. But I went to a British school. South Africa is a very British, like the English speaking side of South Africa is very heavily British influenced. I lived in London. So I've seen both aspects of culture, and I'm glad I got to see both sides because I think that's the only way I could be with an American man, or have been able to be with an American man. Because if I hadn't, it would be very difficult. There's big culture gaps that I don't think would fit a relationship if I still believed certain things, And as much as Britain is a progressed is a Western country, quite progressed. I think that certain things are still instilled in British men that are very conservative, and I think if you say that in America, you get uproar, you get this, you get that. So I only say that to say I think that he wants more of a traditional woman than Zendaya is. And I don't think he will ultimately end up with a woman that is on his level as she is. He'll end up with somebody that's more homely type, you know. So King of Cups, the Emperor, the Ten of Cups. I see him discovering himself, self-exploring, disappearing for a piece, and then coming back. That's especially the transformation of the deck. I see that very strongly. Yeah. So we'll do Chris Brown next, but let me just look at the comments. Yeah, they're very young, and it's okay. You can be young. Some relationships do last when they're young. I've seen it happen, but not all. And I think that the only ones that do are ones that the woman takes a back seat and the man does well and the man is the provider. But when it's two on the same level, not when you're young. Just from what I've seen. Okay, so now let's do Chris Brown. So I think Chris Brown is a very talented, one of the most talented of our generation. I'm the exact same age as Chris Brown. Yeah, I'm the same age. Exact same age as Chris Brown. So he is my generation. People have been just asking me to do reading on him, and I just want to do a prediction on him for the next half of this year. I know that he's a sun in Taurus. I've done a video about him quite a while ago. Sun in Taurus. I think he's a rising in Gemini. Ooh. Wow. Right out the gate. Lovers, their souls. So I think he has like an addiction. And I saw this with Karuchi. His ex that he was like stalking and so forth. I think he has an addiction. And I've seen this in a lot of guys in Hollywood. They want someone that isn't that interested in them because they have so many people, so many women like throwing themselves at them. They want a woman who's not that into them. But then the other side is that they never really fully are in that relationship because they have like a craving for unrequited love. I don't know if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, please let me know. But it's very clear that he has serious, serious romantic relationship situation, like problems, So with Seven of Pentacles, I'm using the Lightyear's Tarot, by the way, and Nine of Pentacles, Taurus energy, Pentacles or Earth energy, he's focusing on his work. I think he's trying to impress a woman. And there's somebody in his life, a woman that's coming to his life very recently, that he is focused on impressing a lot. And if she rejects him, his world's going to come tumbling upside down. And then we're going to hear about him in the news again, stuff like that. I really wish he would develop enough self-control. Excuse me, I meant to do full Chris Brown. I really wish he would develop enough self-control that he wouldn't need so much validation from women. And I think that's just what a lot of these celebrities need to do, like focus less on trying to be that like the sexy guy, and be more of a person that's at peace with themselves. Because I'm telling you, this woman that comes into his life that he's trying to impress right now, I think she might be African, like from Africa. But he really, bottom of the day, Harrison wants to like prove to her that he's stable, proves to her that he's financially at peace. But if she, because they're talking right now, if she decides to move on to somebody else, or he finds out he's talking to somebody else, he's going to try to basically ruin her. which is not very nice on his end. He must have some Scorpio in his energy. Must have some Scorpio. The Devil, Page of Pentacles, and Nine of Cups. And you know, I say this all the time. I think people misconstrue how I feel about Scorpios. I love Scorpios. I think Scorpios, are one of my favorite signs. But something about Scorpios, they can have a very vengeful, vindictive, and a need to be right that ends up being their demise. So just putting it out there. I see that happening with him. So somebody does better than him, or somebody, especially women, he wants to get back at them so much that it ends up flipping, and then he ends up losing. He loses everything because he's so vengeful and wants this person. He's gonna want this person to see who he is so much that he overdoes it, and it comes across unappealing, and the person ends up leaving. So this person is like a friend right now. She wants to be in that position. He's wanted more, but she's like, I don't know how I feel about this. And he's going to end up basically sabotaging himself, trying to be what he thinks she wants, but she doesn't want. That makes sense. So that's what I have for you guys about Chris Brown. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm going to end the live soon. I might do another live on Friday because I have some time. I am studying for a series. I'm doing this course that I should be graduating soon. But it's kicking my butt. It's not easy stuff. It involves a lot of math, algebra, and so forth, which I love. I love to do math, or math in America, but it's not easy. So if I have time and I'm not doing formulas, I will definitely come back on live. But I'm so grateful to everybody that joined. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to log out now. But this was so fun. And if you're watching replay, please like the video, comment. I always love to hear what you say. Take care.